Hello everyone, Vampire218 here, joined today on the House Infinity channel by...
Howdy everyone, this is John, aka Scotty Dr. Pepper.
And today we are going to be bringing you a special little video just explaining how to draft.
Specifically, the point system for IDL and ICL, so this is useful to you coaches that are new, and to those who are just new to the 1,000-point system that we're introducing.
Yes, so... we're going to go to the draft rosters page. We're going to look at someone who has a blank team, like the Bellevue Farfetched. Now, you can see here that it says he has 1,000 points. Now, understanding what that means is pretty important, because we've gotten quite a few messages lately, I don't know how to draft. What does 1,000 points mean?
Every single person in ICL. Huh?
Oh, exactly.
It's fine, because it confused me when we did the doc video last week or whatever it was. I looked at my team. I was like, why do I only have? What are my points? I was confused when I first saw it.
What the GBA does is the GBA actually uses a 1,000-point system. They just don't talk about it. And then that your 1 through 5 picks actually use up 600 of those points automatically. And that
180 plus 120 plus 100 plus 100 plus 60 plus 40 equals 600. If you don't believe me, do a calculator.
The math. Exactly.
I've spelled it out many times. So that's your 600. Then you're left with 400 for your free agency draft picks. Per usual.
So that's just explaining that. Now we're going to get into some cores. So let's go to that tier list, because there are two main cores that we like to talk about when we're talking about draft leagues. And what would those be, Scotty?
The main cores are Fire, Grass, Water, just like your stars are going to be, and then Steel, Fairy, Dragon.
That is
which
correct.
Is new.
Well, it's
from
new,
the last two gens.
The reason that we do this is because they actually cover quite a few of the common weaknesses. So grass can take a water hit, but is weak to fire. Fire can take a grass hit, but is weak to water. And water can take a fire hit, but is weak to grass. Now they also cover some other things in there as well, such as grass covering ground while fire is weak to it, water actually hitting it. It's a very intricate little rock paper scissors system that applies to that one, the Dragon Steel Fairy core, and then other cores as well. But those are the two main ones that we talk about.
Yeah, there are many others like Fighting Dark Psychic. And
ice.
Ice. Yeah, triple ice. There's so many others, and they can go for specific mods. Basically, what you're looking for is coverage of your weaknesses, if you're defensive, but then also coverage on your offensive opportunities.
Correct. Now let's talk about what a good monotype grass, fire, water core would be in league format. So
I would say grass, Tangrowth.
Tangrowth, absolutely.
Tangrowth, or like even why can't I think of your name right now? Shaman is great too.
Absolutely.
Superior. I love Superior. I had
absolutely.
Superior last season.
And what you're wanting to do here is you're wanting to aim for different roles for each of these mons. So Tangrowth, very bulky, very hard hitting on the physical side, and can take hits like a boss. Superior, very good at the special side, very fast. It hits very hard on that special side. And then Shaman, very good utility. Now, the fire and water type that you would pair with those would be based on the roles. So let's say we're going with Shaman as your utility. You'd probably want to go for a bulky water type, such as Suicune, Melodic. Who else are we thinking here? I know there's a couple others.
That are pure water?
Pure water? Oh yeah, you're right, pure water.
Because you said pure water,
that's
so that's
true.
Like,
Manaphy to a degree is okay.
Oh, Manaphy can be bulky. Yeah.
Manaphy can be bulky. Again, it's another one. It's kind of like Shaman in that the Pixies, the ones that have those base 100s and everything, they can do quite a few things, and they do them all pretty well. Blastoise.
Yeah. Blastoise is great, bulky water. I'd say Melodic's probably one of the best ones because of that recover.
Absolutely.
Because it gives recover. Yeah.
And then the fire type, you would want to get a nice hard-hitting fire type. Like Darmanitan, Typhlosion, like...
something that's just going to come in and hit.
Entei,
great.
Something that's going to come in and that's going to wreck faces. And that's an example of just without any secondary typings. Now, when you're taking secondary typings in there, you have a world of opportunity and a world of, just possibilities open to you. Yeah, but that's something that you can do, is that you don't want to just go mono. Mono is good for very beginners, but things like Mega Venusaur, things like Amoonguss, things like, essentially that's what you want to do with your cores, is that you want to do that, and you want to make sure you're spreading out your cores usually across the first 3, maybe 4 tiers, because again, tier 4, tier 5, they're good, but they're very much more situational, I would say.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of overlooked mons, especially in 5.
Well,
That are
absolutely,
great for
but
filling out a core.
well, absolutely, but you're not wanting to go maybe 4 mons from tier 4 and tier 5
No,
for
you
your
wouldn't.
core.
You wouldn't rely on them.
Exactly.
Perfectly. I think it's good to focus on. I don't know. I like one of my cores being offensive and one of my cores being defensive, but versatility is always great.
Let's go into some other useful types, though, because we've talked about the 2 cores, but what are some other useful types that you might want to get to fill out a roster?
Well, a lot of times you're going to be looking at either your type advantage for like the more advantageous offensive cores, or specifically the more advantageous defensive cores. Like you want a ground Pokemon so you can avoid Volt switches.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part. You want something that's going to resist Scald, which is a major attack right now, and always will be. U-turn, something that can that can be like your fire, your steel stuff resists U-turn. Grass will resist Volt Switch, but if you can stop it, that's even better. So like a ground Pokemon, always great to stop a Volt Switch. A fire Pokemon, always great to prevent a burn. A ghost Pokemon, always great to prevent Rapid Spin and make them use defog so they clear out their own hazards later on.
Now let's talk about abilities here, because there are some abilities that you should be aiming to get on your draft. And some of those would be things like Intimidate. Now this is really good on a Pokemon like Hitmontop, because Hitmontop has a multifunctional ability. It spins. It can use multiple items. It has
priority.
It has the Intimidate ability, meaning it comes in with good defenses. You can probably throw an Assault Vest on there, and it can clear away hazards. That's why Hitmontop is one of my favorite spinners. Other good abilities to have would be things like Beast Boost, Moxie.
Is Beast Boost a good ability?
It's okay.
I'm new to. I haven't touched Sun and Moon yet, but yeah.
If you're going for weather, getting sand, getting sun, getting rain, getting hail, all of these can be
your
good.
Immediate weather setters, your immediate abilities, or your terrain setters, and the Tapus that are super broken right now.
Absolutely, they're all very good in what you want to do. Now, obviously, you don't need them, but having access to something like, let's say you draft Hippowdon, you have now opened up a massive avenue for yourself, because not only did you get a good bulky ground type that can clear a lot of the board, it can set up rocks, and it has recovery. It can set up sand.
Hazards.
And it's a really solid Pokemon that then you can build around if you wanted to get something that used sand.
Because other abilities can boost off of that sand, such as Sand Rush. You can do Sandvale, but that's kind of lame.
I love Sandvale.
Sand Rush and Sand Force are the main ones, though.
And
you're gonna see more Sand Rush, though.
It does boost rock types special defense by 0.5.
Special defense by 1, yeah.
Pretty
1.5.
Solid. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go into stats, because I have a pretty big problem.
I think there's some more abilities real quick.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like
what other abilities?
Levitate makes you immune to ground attacks. Mold Breaker ignores other people's abilities. Mold Breaker, Terravolt, stuff like that. If you're getting a Kyurem.
Yeah.
I would say Magic Guard is a very important one. Lets you go into hazards without taking any damage.
That's true.
Lets you take like poison without taking any damage. Simple gives you double stat boosts.
Simple is one of those ones you don't see too often, though, because
I don't see too often anymore. Contrary is a cool one. I would say Water Absorb, Volt Absorb, anything that's going to give you health back when you get hit by an attack is really cool.
And an immunity. That's what's important too, is that it also gives you that nice immunity.
Sap Sipper, Lightning Rod, those are important ones.
Tons of good ones like that.
Yep.
So let's
say Healer's great. No, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, let's move into the stats here because I have a pretty big problem when I'm constructing teams in that I always go for very slow, very bulky teams. And this is an issue. This is not something that you guys want to follow in. I know that I make a mistake when I do this because I look at the average speed of my teams and it's like 60 speed, 66 speed, 70. And what you want to be aiming for is closer to like 75, 80 because you want to get mons at that really good speed. You know, you want to get mons around that 130, but then you also want to tier it down. So you don't need a bunch of really fast frail mons. You want to get maybe one at 130, one at maybe like 115ish, one at maybe like a couple around in that 100 area and all the way down. Whereas what I usually do is like, oh man, there's just like 10 really good 40s. And
Yeah.
why do we do that though? Why
I think it's.
why do
Wait,
they why should they not follow in my footsteps?
because they're gonna lose.
Well, there's other reasons too, but
You want versatility in your draft. You want to be able to come in on different situations. It's going into your roles as a team. You have hazard and status people. You have clerics that can remove statuses and heal Pokemon. You have your sweepers and your walls. You have your speedsters that can come in real fast. You just want to make sure that you cover all, kind of like a D&D campaign. You want different roles. You know, you want your cleric, you want your white mage, you want your warrior, you want your archer, you want your thief. You want that kind of roles covered in your Pokemon team.
and I
So
really couldn't have said that better myself. Like
So when you
you
look at your
absolutely.
when you look at your stats, you want to make sure you do have someone that can come in pretty quickly. So you want someone in a higher speed tier, above 100, above 115 even on their base speed. It's going to be preferable. Stuff like Crobat, Noivern. I love Noivern. Uh,
Greninja.
Ninja, Superior. The genies are pretty fast, but they're
Oh
kind
yeah.
of slow too nowadays.
Well, even
Weavile.
they break about 110, I think some of them.
I'm just saying you want one, at least one Pokemon that's going to be able to come in and just be able to do something really fast. I think Crobat's my favorite.
Crobat's really good. There's some other really good ones out there like Weavile. Um, I'm just trying to think of some other really fast that actually do something. Jolteon.
Jolteon,
Mm-hmm.
something that can come in, especially with the Volt Turn combo, Volt Switch and U Turn, lets you hit and get out. I've even seen a Parting Shot used a lot more lately, which is where you lower their attack and special attack, and you still switch out. But it
Which
gets
is
you out of there.
exactly is
Golden
that it
Persian
lets you.
gets it, so you can just go poof, poof, poof. Lets you come in, get out, you do that chip damage, and switch up your team to get something in that's going to give you the advantage that turn.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go into hazards and why they're important.
Hazards, because like I just said, Volt turning, your Pokemon, when you're battling, you're going to want to switch in and out a whole lot. You're going to want to keep the momentum in your favor, and hazards will rack that up. Stealth rocks will come in. If you're weak to rock, you're going to take, like, was it
25
is it 20? Is 25%?
if you're
And
weak.
if you're okay, and then if you're resistant to it, if you're neutral, it's 12, and is it like 12%?
Yep, if you're neutral, it's 12%. You can bring that down to 3% if it's a times 4 resist, but it's up to
So it's
50% if you're times 4 weak, guys.
Talonflame, Charizard, Moltres, stuff like that. Articuno. Multiple weaknesses.
Volcarona.
Volcarona. Oh, Volcarona can cover. It's so good. But yeah. So rocks are gonna do that. Then you have your spikes, which can build up on the ground. Anything that's on the ground, not levitating or flying, is gonna take damage from that. You have your toxic spikes, which can poison the Pokemon coming in, but not steal. And poison Pokemon when they come in, remove toxic spikes.
Which kind of is
which is
advantageous. Well, it's good for you.
So
but it's not
that's a
good
reason
for...
to have a poison Pokemon on your team.
Exactly.
Dark Pokemon on your team for immunities. Going back, Sticky Webs is the final hazard,
Yes.
which lowers your speed of all Pokemon on the ground.
Which is really,
Pokemon
really
stage.
solid.
It's great. I have it in PMU. In PMU Gold, our Wi-Fi league that we absorbed, I have every hazard available. I'm very happy about it.
And I have 0 ways of getting rid of hazards in that league. And my base speed is 60.
I think I have like 4 hazard removal.
I have 0 hazard removal. My base speed is 60. I have like 4
You get
rock
some.
types.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna be. I don't battle you that league. That's gonna be sad. I just want to battle you. I just want to be like, all right, poof.
So
What are we
speaking
talking
of
about? We're talking about
hazards,
hazards.
you want to know how to get rid of them. Because getting rid of them is a pretty important thing there.
Super embarrassing if you drafted a whole team without a single way to get rid of hazards.
Well, it is pretty embarrassing. I just kind of low-key forgot.
Oh man. Alright, so 2 main ways to get rid of hazards. Rapid Spin. T-Fog. Well, those are the only ways to get rid of them. But you can also prevent hazards with use of Taunt and just good prediction.
Yes.
And know-how, experience, and Magic Bounce, the ability, or Magic... What is it? Is it Magic Arm? What is it called?
Magic Bounce and Magic Coat.
Magic Coat. There
Yes.
you go. Thanks. Those can bounce back the hazards, or prevent your opponent from setting them in the first place.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's really solid being able to get rid of them. And especially like I talked about, there's plenty of mons that learn Rapid Spin all throughout this dock. So I'm going to point out a couple, or at least one, from each that can get rid of hazards. So from tier 1, we have things like Skarmory, which can defog. It also has ways of healing itself through Roost. So Skarmory, always a solid pick because it's also a steel type that has immunity to ground from its flying type. It only has the 2 weaknesses and fire and electric, and that's really solid in a Pokemon. You've also got Starmie, which can rapid spin away. It's got a good typing in Water Psychic. It hits like a truck. It's very fast. So I'm gonna have John go over some tier 2 ones now.
Let's say real fast. The difference between Rapid Spin is that it hits it's an attack that hits your opponent,
and if you survive the attack,
on your side.
If you survive the attack, it removes the hazards.
Yeah. So if they have like a Rocky Helmet, Iron Barbs, or something like
rough
that,
skin.
Rough skin, it's not gonna work. But defog can't really be blocked. It's not an attack; it's a status attack.
Well, there are ways to
yeah, there are ways to prevent it, but it can't be blocked.
Yeah, you can taunt it, but another good way is Defiant. So things like Empoleon, Prinplup.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop it.
It doesn't stop it, but it gives you a nice like +2 attack. So that's
but it doesn't stop it, so that's fine. No. So defog is the more successful route because you're not having to hit the opponent. You can defog on protect, stuff like that. Defog is going to clear both sides of the field though, so if you've set up hazards, you're losing yours. So in tier 2, let's look. I see Mandibuzz is a great one for defog.
Mandibuzz also having that nice dark typing and flying typing, meaning it's covering its fighting weakness. It gets other good moves like Tailwind, things like that.
Gliscor can have defog,
but not with
immunity.
Yeah, you can't have it with immunity. You have to have it with immunity, not the good ability there.
Is there not a spinner in tier 2? At least I'm looking at season 6.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 6. So
I'm looking at season 3. So let me take a quick look here.
Let's say
should be. Como is not. There might not be a spinner in tier 2. Look at that. I'm actually not seeing one either. Why is Marowak Alola is tier 2 apparently? That makes sense though. That's smart.
Is it for ideal? Oh, that's interesting.
I guess it is.
I got a tier 3 in PSH.
Yeah,
I can't wait for GBA to just release official ones so we can go. All right, done. It's good. It's nice, but I just wanted a fire Pokemon with an electric immunity, and I don't want to grab Camerupt. So
Togekiss is another.
Togekiss can do it. Yeah. Good
but there's not spinners in all, right? So let's go over tier 3 just real fast.
Tier 3 Blastoise,
Crobat for defogging. We got Delamise for rapid spinning.
One of the best ones.
Fortress. We have
its
tons. Tier 4, you've got some really good ones in the Hitmons. You have all the Hitmons. You got Golbat.
All of them get it.
You got Golbat. You got Moltres. You got Oricorio. You got tons of good stuff there.
Kabutops.
You got Kabutops. And then tier 5, you got tons. You got Prinplup with defog. You got Charizard with defog. You don't want to use it for that though.
You have Avalugg.
You have Avalugg. You have Cryogonal.
You have Armaldo, a great tier 5 spinner.
Mm-hmm.
You have
You got Spinned Up.
Delibird gets Defog and Rapid Spin, one of the very few Pokemon that gets both.
You got
But it's got that half-life.
×4,
You
yeah.
come in
You
with.
don't want to use it for that.
It's fine.
But you
Articuno, I
can.
used Articuno in Season 1 of PMU, Choice Scarf Defog, just about every game.
Oh, gosh.
And it lived a lot. It could still do a lot of damage, and it could U-turn if I didn't need a defog. It could freeze dry. It was great. I love Articuno.
That's funny.
Not as good as Cryogonal,
No,
which is
no
also
way.
tier 5.
So let's talk about some synergy here. Because synergy is pretty important when you're, building a team. So what synergy really means is you get mons that work well on a team
complement.
together.
Yeah. Your team's going to come in with like a plan, a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're going to do.
So something like weather usually has good synergy because a lot of the weather mons work well together. So you're having your Politoed, but then you also have things like
I just drafted my rain team in PSHS, so I can talk about that real
there you go.
fast. I grabbed Pelipper, which is a new rain setter, but it has U-turn. It has Hurricane immediately, which doesn't miss in the rain. So bam, there's Hurricane every time. There's boosted water attack, so Scald right away. But with rain, you want like a steel type because fire attacks are reduced by 50%, so they can live attacks better. So I grabbed something.
I
bulky,
prefer
like
a grass type actually because they have that that resistance to what's it called? They have that resistance to electric.
To electric. You still get grass type, but like the main staples are you get your water Pokemon, you get your rain setter, you get someone that has Swift Swim. In my case, I grabbed Mega Swampert. You grab a Steel Pokemon, which in my case I grabbed Ferrothorn because it resists electric and it gets the half damage from fire, so it can survive without the berry. You get your Dragon. I grabbed Noivern because it has Hurricane and it's super fast. But you grab those kind of staples that are going to help your team. I grabbed Zebstrika because it has Sap Sipper and Motor Drive and Lightning Rod, so I can go in and I can have a grass immunity or an electric immunity. Stuff like that. You just want to make sure that I have a physical sweeper, I have a special sweeper, I have Manaphy that can set up so well. It's a wall breaker. It just comes in and just sets up on things. But then I still have like my Cleric Fairy. I still have my bulky Steel type. I still have the staples, but then I make sure that in the rain I can do all these extra things. I have Thunder on a bunch of Pokemon because it can't miss, Hurricane can't miss, stuff like that.
Exactly, and that's really what you want to do, is you want to go into these having a plan, but having a flexible plan, because you could get sniped turn 1, turn 2. So don't go into there being like, alright guys, I'm going for Hail, and that's all I'm going for. Because you could get sniped really hard. You want to go into there being very flexible. If you're going to go for something like Rain, go for a Rain setter turn 1. Go for a Sun setter turn 1. Go for a
I got my Pelipper round 8.
And don't over-invest in a plan. PMU Gold, I over-invested in Trick Room, and I know it's going to come back to bite me. My base speed is 60, guys. I know I'm not winning that league.
He's not winning that league.
But let's go into items, because this is another consideration you want when you're making a draft pick. So some common roles on a team are an Eviolite user, which lets you boost your defense and special defense by 50%. And
Chansey, Porygon 2,
Doublade, Dusclops.
Those are some of the biggest ones.
Yeah, those are probably some of the 4 of the biggest ones that I know of.
Electabuzz and Magmar.
I've never really used them. I'm a much bigger fan of Dusclops.
Electabuzz has 105 special attack, or 105 speed and like 95 special attack.
Which isn't horrible. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Amazing. Pretty much any Pokemon that was like, hey, Gen 4, I'm going to evolve. Grab that one before. Gligar, amazing. Gligar's amazing.
Gligar is really good,
His Broken Rhydon is amazing too.
Rhydon's pretty good
Sliggoo.
I'm really surprised the Sliggoo.
There's some Pokemon that are banned because of their abilities, like Blaziken and Greninja.
Yeah.
But you can grab their Tier 5 pre-evolution forms with that ability still. So you can still get a Protean Frogadier. You can still get a Speed Boost Combuskin.
And that's pretty
great.
Strong.
Yeah, they still do it. They're just not as broken, so they're fine.
All right, and that's basically what that is. Now let's talk about a good team versus a bad team as like the last thing we discuss here.
A couple of the items we didn't really talk about are like Z crystals.
Oh yes, Z crystals. You're right.
In
So,
IDL and ICL, we've limited it to
three
only
Pokemon.
attacking. 3 Pokemon and only attacking.
Yes. So you want to think about a Pokemon that's gonna hit hard. Now there's some varying ideas on this, but there's two trains of thought. You either want a bulky Pokemon that can take a hit and use its Z move at the right time, or you want a hard hitting Pokemon that can just have a lot of different options to it. Now, some good examples of Z move users in League format, I think, are Pokemon like Mew. It gets every Z move available. Jirachi, very solid. Let me just take a quick look here. The Tapu's always good. In Tier 2, we have some others in things like Alakazam, Azelf. Basically, you want to choose a Z-move user that can kind of hold its own without an item. So
I think one of the best uses I've seen is Embor.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so strong and it has such a good move pool already. But most of its attacks that are great do damage to itself. So when you use the Z move, that is not a factor. You can use Z moves as the base damage. With you can use a strong attack as the base for a Z move, and just get an extra boosted attack, 100% accurate. So like you can use Stone Edge, and not have to worry about missing. You can use Solar Beam and not have to recharge or like
which is
charge up first.
really nice, because we're not going to talk about how Z moves work here in terms of like accuracy or all that stuff, but they're 100% accurate and they get a boost based on what the base power of those was, and they go
as
up to
long as the power
damage.
Isn't 150 or more.
Yeah.
So anything like 140 or less is gonna. 140 is the strongest I think you can do.
Well, you go up to 200. But
no,
anything above one.
Self-destruct doesn't.
No, but they go up to 200.
Yeah, they go up. They go up more. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
they cap at 200 power.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's huge. You got to think 200 power, guys. That is hitting a lot of things super hard. I've been Vampire 282. He's been Scotty Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I'm been Scotty Dr. Pepper. I'm eating dinner. Sorry.
And we will see you guys for the IDL and ICL draft. We hope you guys get awesome teams, and we are excited to see what you guys draft.
Unless you're an IDL, then I want you to have like a mediocre team so I can beat you.
We will see you guys. Bye.
Bye.